Hello, everyone. It's time for Vanished Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanis. This is episode 319, season 13. Today's date is March 30th, 2024, and welcome to the program. On today's show, I will talk about the 60th anniversary of the game show Jeopardy. And that premiered on March 30th, 1964. I'll talk about its history of that and their two hosts, which first hosted by Art Fleming and, of course, Alex Trebek. Then I will talk about my health status for this week that happened this week. I got a lot to talk about that. A lot has been going on. Also, I will do a tribute to actor Louis Gossett Jr. He just passed away yesterday, and I'll talk about my memories of watching him on television and in the movies. And he had a very illustrious career, and he was a great man, great actor. But first, the program will go into a commercial break, and this program is brought to you by Arthur Treacher's Fish and Chips. Well, and to this day, a lot of people miss this place so much. So, excuse me. So, this commercial is from 1978. So sit back and relax, and I'll be right back with the show, folks. Thank you.
At Arthur Treacher's, please don't take our sign too literally. Our specialty isn't just delicious tasting fish. Our specialty is delicious food. Sure, Arthur Treacher's got famous for the original fish and chips, but we also specialize in boneless chicken and chips, and shrimp and chips, even our own mouth-watering sandwiches. Come to Arthur Treacher's and let us cook you our specialty. The only thing we need to know is, which one?
Arthur Treacher's, we are something else.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Arthur Treacher's Fish and Chips. That company was founded in 1969, and it was very popular in the 70s and the early 80s. Arthur Treacher was an actor from England. He's best known as he always played like butlers, very stuffed shirts, like that. He was also best known as Merv Griffin's sidekick on his talk show in the 60s. And I guess he lent his name to this franchise. And that's what he was well known as. But he did a lot of television, movies, the stage, and all that. As for the restaurant, I've always said this before. I'm not a big fish fan. I'm not crazy about it. The only thing I like is salmon. Shrimp. Yeah. But they had chicken and shrimp. If that place was open now, I would buy chicken. Of course, it'd be chicken and chips. And it was boneless. So I went there once, and it was on 59th Street and South Kedzie in the Marquette Park area. A long, long time ago, when I was a kid. That was in the 70s. I was in the area with a friend of mine, and we decided to go there. It was pretty good. I did order the fish. It wasn't bad. Chicken wasn't available then, so that was good. Not the potato chips, the fries. They call them chips in England. They were good. They're still around, not in Chicago. Maybe a couple of them in Ohio or in the East Coast, like Maryland or New Jersey, something like that. They ought to bring them back. We'll see about that. Okay, at the beginning of the program, I will talk about the 60th anniversary of the game show Jeopardy, that debuted today, 60 years ago. Also, I'll talk about my health status this week. And then I will talk about, I'll do my tribute to actor Louis Gossett Jr. Before I get started, I'm going to mention two things. One, the other day I posted a photo of a Jack in the Box restaurant that was on Western Avenue near 62nd Street. It was right across the street from the Sears department store. That's gone. The Sears is gone. They tore it down, but it grew popularity. But I forgot to credit the person. No, I'm sorry. When I found the photo, I didn't see any credit. I thought it was. I assume it was not from a studio or like a personal photo. And the guy contacted me. He said, "Pete, would you please credit this for me? This is from collection." And I said, "Of course." But I forgot, I was so busy. So he sent me another message, and I said, "Oh, okay. I did that, and everything's fine." You got to be careful. Second thing, when you learn in life, you got to be careful with people when you run into. So you got to trust. You don't trust them for them to do a favor, because it can lead into a bad thing. So please, folks, be careful out there. There are people that take advantage of you. This happened to me not too long ago, and now I've regretted it, and I'm trying to recover that. It can happen to anybody. I fell for it. So please be careful. Just run. If you're outside, don't, or you're on the phone, hang up. I didn't do this time, so, it was very heartbreaking. I'm trying to get over it, so I'm doing okay. Just please be careful. You don't, there are a lot of, how would I say, crooks, a lot of con artists. You got to be careful. Okay. All right. Let's get started. We're going to talk about, I'll talk about my health status first, get that out of the way. This is what happened. Monday, I went to UIC, in the near west side of Chicago, to discuss the spot on my rib. I've been telling people that on social media for a long time. And it is metastasized. I can't say that word. So I spoke to two doctors, and both very young and very knowledgeable and very nice. And they said, "Yeah, it's localized, and it just popped up because you had radiation before. That was like what, 3 years ago, But my oncologist says, yeah, it could pop, but anything could pop up, because of that." So they said the best way to treat this is radiation. And I said, okay. But it's not that bad. It's not like I went for 39 days in 2021 in the summer, so it's not going to be like that at all. No, it'll be like between 1 to 5, so like a week. Might be less. What I have is metastatic, I can't say the word, prostate cancer. My prostate's gone. It was surgically removed on April 6, 2020, which is coming up. It's 4 years ago. And the doctor did his best, but there's still little microscopic cells left over on the prostate bed. Real teeny tiny. You can't really tell. Maybe it's from that. Could be. So both doctors who were asking me questions, they asked the history, how, from the beginning, how this, my journey through all my treatments, the surgery, blah, 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 that. And I will do, so this coming Monday, I will do another CAT scan, another scan. It's a bone scan, not a PET scan. It's not necessary because they know what it is and they can see it. And just to be sure, and so they pinpoint it or where they'll start radiation. Now for radiation, I don't know when I'm going to start. It should be very soon, maybe in a week, 2 weeks. I don't know. Sometime in April. Then hopefully this will work. This will do the trick. They'll zap it. It'll be gone, and my PSA will drop. And then, as for medications, I still take 2 of them. I don't know if I'll continue with that. Probably, maybe 1 or 2 or both. I don't know. It depends. It's up to them. It's up to my urologist, and it's up to my oncologist. Okay. So I'm hoping if it doesn't fail, there's a slim chance that it might not work, and I probably have chemotherapy, which I do not want. But if I have to do it, I have to do it. It'll save my life. But with this special radiation, there's no side effects except I'm going to be tired. But I'm already tired already. With the pills. So hopefully I'll keep everyone posted when how it went Tuesday, and they'll tell me the schedule of the radiation, and hopefully it won't be that bad. It's a pain in the butt, but I managed to do that. Then this past Wednesday, I went to see my urologist. He did a cytoscopy or something. He looks through the urethra. He looks around to see if anything's going on. He found a bladder stone. He says that's common. Not a kidney stone, thank God. It's just a bladder stone, just a small one. In other words, I have to go to the hospital again for the 3rd time with this procedure and get my scar tissue stretched. That's the 3rd time doing that. But I'm scheduled in May, early May, so I got time. He says you're having a rush. It's nothing. It's outpatient. You'll be in and out. No problem. But I got to wear a catheter. I hate that. That's how it is. Hopefully. And hopefully everything will be fine, and then I could just continue being healthy. It's crazy. It's been a roller coaster ever since I first diagnosed in December 2019. It's just nuts like that. But I'm in good hands. I really am. I'm in good hands. Okay. That's it. All right. Right now, I'm going to talk about the 60th anniversary of the game show Jeopardy, which is debuted today, 60 years ago. Give you a little history on that. And that premiered on NBC March 30th, 1964. This is the first version, and it ended January 3rd, 1975. So it had a long run like that. The first version of Jeopardy was not like what we watch now. Not really. It's the same. The same. How would you say it? The same way you play. Only right now it's computerized, and there's screens. That, and the dollar amounts have increased since then. Inflation. Like that. So, the host of the show, the first one, his name was Art Fleming. And he had a very strange voice, but he was a good host, And he hosted all the hosts. He was the host of all versions. It was syndicated until the first show in 1964, all the way to 1979. It was syndicated for a while. Then, my memories of watching the first one, I was very, very little. I was about 5 or 6. I think I saw it when I lived in the South Shore neighborhood. And I turned on the TV, and it was on 10:30 in the morning on Channel 5. And I was like, I saw this grid, with dollar amounts and categories. And in the beginning of the show, this is the difference between that and what we watch now. You have the announcer. It was Don Pardo who used to do he was the announcer at Saturday Night Live for many years. and he announced the contestant's name, and they enter in a room. This time they didn't stood, like they do now, or they just stood there while they're do their introductions. When the announcer introduced the contestants, he introduced and they sat down. That was the difference. And they told them their names and where they're from. And they had coffee cups or like water, the one we watch Jeopardy now, they had nothing. All they is themselves, and they have the buzzer. That's it. I don't know if they snuck food in there. No. And then they introduced Art Fleming, and then when you watch Jeopardy now, you have boop, 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 with all the amounts popping in and not popping in, and then they would introduce the categories. In the Art Fleming version, there was like a curtain, and it went opening it up, and then he would introduce the categories. He also had Double Jeopardy, and he had Final Jeopardy, and there was also the Daily Double. Of course, that was there. Same thing. But you have to form the answer. Your answer has to be a form of a question. Okay, same thing. It was like that. And I watched a few episodes on YouTube. A lot of them are not survived. I wish they were. That would be fun to watch. They really would. But a lot has changed since then. Like that. So anyway, I'm going to play the introduction of Jeopardy. I think it's from 1974, in the mid-70s, with Art Fleming. And when I come back, I'll talk a little bit more about Jeopardy today. Okay? So sit back and relax, and I'll be right back, folks. Thank you.
Jeopardy presents today's three contestants. This is Miss Kim Elam from New York City. This is Mr. Kent Jarrell from Vienna, Virginia. And this is our champion, Mrs. Karen Streisman from Freeville, New York. These three people will compete today on Jeopardy! And now, here's the star of Jeopardy, Art Fleming.
Good morning. Thank you, players. Thank you, Don Pardo. Thank you, my friend.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the introduction of Jeopardy with Art Fleming. This is from the mid-1970s, so there's a big difference between the show back then and what is now. Yeah, so over the years. Now I'll talk a little bit about, actually, let me start this. The show came back for 1 year in syndication from, also from 1974 to 1975. That was just 1 year, and then it came back from 1978 to 1979. I don't remember that at all. And Art Fleming did host that. Okay. And then, Jeopardy came back in the mid-1980s. This time it was with Alex Trebek, and he was famous for that. He was. I read somewhere like when he first hosted, like a lot of people were going, we want Art Fleming. We don't want this guy, But we all warmed up to him, and he's awesome, And I've been watching the show ever since. Me and my mom watch it every day, even specials. She loves the show. She learns things. She asks me questions, and I tell her, if she's not sure. But, I enjoy it. Record it every day. It's a lot of fun. I love the show. I really do. And it has changed over the years. The format's still the same. Nothing's changed. Regular Jeopardy, Double Jeopardy, Final Jeopardy, that's all the same. The Think music, that's still there. It's changed a little bit. Well, one thing I want to mention, the Art Fleming version, you had to write down you had to write it down like on a piece of paper, like a board, and then Art Fleming will come over and you just flip it, and then show you. In today, they just do it on a computer screen. How times have changed. So Alex Trebek hosted the show for many years until like 2021, I think, and then he passed away. Um, let's see. So yeah, no, he passed away on November 8th, 2020. And then, but they still showed a lot of shows were taped in advance. So the last show I think was about, I don't know, December, something like that. I'm not sure. I remember watching the last show with him because he was suffering from pancreatic cancer, and it was like, oh my god, this stinks. It's awful. Yeah, poor man. He wanted to continue, and no. He said he loved hosting the show. He loved hosting it, and I've auditioned many times. You do the written, you do the test. Never got called. I keep trying. I'll keep trying like that. So then after Alex Trebek's death, there were a few guest hosts. Like for example, there was Ken Jennings. There was LeVar Burton, Maya Balak. I can't say her name. Lots of them. Aaron Rodgers, of course, he hosted. And there were so many. Most of them did a great job. They really did. But they selected two, Mian Bialik and, of course, Ken Jennings. Now, Mian Bialik, I don't know, she left, but she hosts, they alternate. So Ken Jennings is the host. I don't know if he wants to do it full time. It's a little hard, because sometimes he does specials at prime time, with celebrities like that. And he does host a regular one. And so that's a good ideal choice. That really is. To tell you the truth, I wish LeVar Burton did it because he was awesome in that. But I may be a minority in this. But he was great. He was great. I wish he hosted it. Guess not. Things change. So maybe I'll try the test today. I will try. Why not? That'll be fun. I enjoy doing it. I really have a good time. Anyway, so I'll continue watching the show. I believe the show will go on for a long time, a really long time. I don't know how long Ken Jennings will host it. We'll see. Maybe. I don't know if that's his future. Like that. I have no idea. So Jeopardy lives on, and like that. So one of the greatest game shows of all time. Okay. Oh, one last thing. I like Price is Right, but I'm not a huge fan because, over there it's kind of nuts. Jeopardy is more quiet, sedated, cerebral, very relaxed. Not like the other one. Okay, next up, I'm going to do my tribute to Louis Gossett Jr. He was an actor. He appeared on television, stage, the movies. It was so sad. I heard that he passed away. He was 87 years old. From what I heard, he had prostate cancer, and I didn't know that. Just like me, and he beat it. So. But I heard he had medical problems over the years, but he was still acting to this day. He really was. So I'll give you a little background about him. Okay, so he was born Louis Cameron Gossett Jr., May 27, 1936. He was born in Brooklyn, in New York, and he started acting. And he was like, so he got he caught the acting bug then, and he did plays in high school and all that. And then his high school teacher encouraged him to audition for a part in Broadway, version. He did, and he was on his way. So And, he was a tall guy. And he was offered to play for the New York Knicks, the basketball team. But he said, nah, I don't want to do it. I want to act like that. And his first Broadway play was called Take a Giant Step, and he was awesome. And then he performed more Broadway shows, and then his famous one was A Raisin in the Sun. That was based on a play by Lorraine Hainsbury. I think that's her name. That's set in Chicago, and he was in the movie. I think that was his first movie. I think. I've seen the movie about once or twice many years ago, and I forgot about him. He was in it. I got to watch it again. So he made that, and let's see. Then he started in a lot of movies, more Broadway plays, and then he started on television. And I remember he appeared on The Partridge Family. He was a fireman, with Richard Pryor. That was a classic show, like that. And wow, that was great. And also the what was that show? Good Times. And he was going to be a replacement for John Amos on Good Times because John Amos left. So that he only appeared one episode. So, but he was good in that. And of course, his famous role was the role of Fiddler in Roots, the miniseries by Alex Haley. I saw Roots when I was in 8th grade. He was awesome in that. Oh, wonderful. And he won an Emmy for that. He deserved it. And I think he appeared in the sequel, with LeVar Burton, Cut the Kitty. He did that. And he appeared in more movies. He also appeared in The Deep, in 1977. I remember that movie. That looks scary. I didn't see it. I remember he played at Fort City Theater in Chicago. I want to see that. But that was with Jacqueline Bisset. Then played more roles. He played in a couple of TV shows. One was The Lazarus Syndrome that lasted 1 year, and also The Powers of Matthew Starr. That was in the 1980s. I remember that. Well, that's okay. But his most famous role, of course, was Officer and a Gentleman. And that won him an Oscar for supporting actor. When I first saw this movie in the movies, he blew me away. And he was a drill instructor, Gunny Sergeant Emil Foley. Oh my God, this guy was a badass. He was just, when he was on the screen, you couldn't take your eyes off of him. And he was so mean to Richard Gere. He was in the movie. So it was, Deborah Winger was in the movie. Oh my, when Richard Gere was in the military, and oh my God, I've seen, I've only seen the movie once. I got to see it again because his role in that movie was phenomenal, like that. And he didn't take crap from anybody, but he was outstanding. He really was. And he deserved it. He deserved the Oscar. That's great. That really was. Okay. Right now I'm going to play a commercial real quickly. Oscar, believe it or not, Louis Gossett Jr. did a commercial for Oreo cookies. So here's one from 1987. And when I come back, I'll wrap up the show, folks. Thank you.
Oh, 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 who's that kid with the Oreo cookie?
Huh? Who you calling a kid?
Eating all the luscious chocolate, licking all the creamy middles.
One good twist, and I got him right where I want him.
Dunking all the crunchy cookies like he did when he was little.
My mama never let me eat them whole.
Oh, it's hard to hide the kid inside with
Louis Gossett Jr.
and Oreo. Nabisco.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial. They appeared on the Oreo sandwich commercial, or Oreo cookies. Sorry, that's don't like them. You can find it on YouTube. Uh, you know, like I said before, he starred in a lot of television, a lot of movies. Of course, I forgot to mention a couple that stood out. One was Iron Eagle, Enemy Mine. That was a good one. And some bad ones too. Jaws 3D. uh, Others were toy soldiers. So he was a supporting actor, but that's okay. He liked to keep busy, so that's okay. He was a wonderful man, and so yeah, we're going to miss him, but his work will live on, of course. Yeah, of course it will. Okay. So that's it for this show. I'll do a recap of what I talked about. I talked about the 60th anniversary of the game show Jeopardy, which premiered 60 years ago today, March 30th, 1964. Also, I talked about my health status, and also I did my tribute to actor Louis Gossett Jr. This podcast will be published later on today, wherever podcasts are available: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, also Breaker, Overcast. It'll also be on my blog, www.vanishinggoblin.blog. Okay. Also, it'll be on my YouTube channel. Again, people ask me, where do I find your podcast? Where do I find your podcast? Go to my YouTube channel, do a search, type in Vanishing Goblin Stories or my name, Pico Stanis, and you will find it. Hit subscribe. You will get a notification of the latest episodes. You can listen to previous episodes. Same thing with the apps. Hit follow. You'll do that as well. You'll get notifications for those. Also, be sure to my social media accounts: Facebook, X, LinkedIn, Reddit, Threads, Instagram, what's the other one? Blue Sky, and also TikTok. They have the links, so you want to watch that. Okay. So that's it for this show. I don't know if I'll do another one tomorrow. We'll see. Tomorrow's Easter, but it's not my Easter. I celebrate Easter a month later, about May 2nd or something. I forgot the date, but it's the first Sunday of May. That's my Easter. Okay. So we'll see. I have to think about what I'll talk about. Okay, so this is Pico Stash, your host of Vanishing Goblin Stories, the podcast. Thank you for joining me. Today looks like a lovely day. It's nice and sunny. I don't know if it's too cold. Hopefully your Easter will be beautiful. And we'll see if I'll do another episode. Probably, if I have time. I'll have to think of something. Okay. So this is bye bye for me, and here's Ray Rayner with a little traveling music saying bye bye bye. Take care, everyone, and so long.
We have to go. Bye bye bye.